new release that is sadly going under everyone's radar and I want to talk about is the Bejoy Nambiar project titled Taish that just released today. The film has been transformed into a 6-episode series, just like JL50 was, in order to develop interest among the viewers as the plot develops. While both these projects could stand alone as films, I understand the creative choice in constantly engaging the audience and wanting more. Would you rather have an over 3-hour film on the OTT platform or see a 6-episode exhilarating experience? Taish, directed by one of my favorite creators, Bejoy Nambiar, stars a talented and phenomenal cast in the form of Harshvardhan Rane, Sarbh, Pulkit Samrat, Kriti Kharbanda, and Sanjeeda Shaikh in lead roles. I will call it a film, so let's get that out of the way before you correct me. It focuses on wedding celebrations that go terribly wrong as the family in Mary crosses paths with an influential mob family, only for a dark history to get unveiled. The slippery slope and dire circumstances that result in an act of rage or impulsive anger, which is the meaning of the title of the film, Taish, forms the premise of this exhilarating, unique, and stylized action thriller. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether this 6-episode series or film is worth your time on ZEE5 or not. The underwhelming aspects. Voice modulation. This is a bit of a meticulous point that many may have not noticed, but hey, we're here to talk about films and every aspect of it, so let's get to it. The cast of the film, each talent, has done a praiseworthy job. The majority of the characters represent the title and theme of the film. Characteristics such as impulsiveness, emotional, unrepressed are communicated convincingly. But what happens in a film that is charged with uncomfortable situations that come out of nowhere for characters is that the performances have to be on the edge, almost constantly stimulated with no time to breathe. And this in turn leads to many sequences where characters are just trying to figure out things while the walls are closing in. In some of the scenes, I noticed that Sarbh, a man with theatre pedigree, grunting and shouting in sequences, almost taking pauses at the most odd intervals. It lends a sense of realism for a person who has to come to terms with the unfortunate news, but stood out to me as an attempt to do something different, which faltered in moments as a creative choice. While Sanjeeda contributes an extremely emotional performance, the voice modulation in dramatic moments, especially one sequence as she confronts Harshvardhan's character, becomes uncomfortably loud. This does not impact the overall performance of the cast, but was a technical detail that stood out for me in moments. Creative choice and insight. Bejoy Nambiar has a tendency to provide you new information almost in every sequence. This leads to the viewer almost anticipating that something is about to happen. While from a premise standpoint, Taish consistently draws you in, Nambiar in casual conversations also drops big reveals. He is not a creator that will overwhelm you with a harsh soundtrack when a truth bomb drops by a character. He simply presents a conversation and moves on, and this often leads to a viewer scratching their head with the new information, almost doing a double take to be like, did she just say that? This precisely led to a polarizing reaction of a film like Solo, especially the twist in the world of Rudra. While I am no one to give insight to a creator like Nambiar, I just felt that for a director who has such exemplary visuals and precise editing, one can communicate the same contentious issues through visuals, enough for the viewer to feel the turmoil of a character. The good. Music. I hate to see such a beautiful soundtrack get such little attention. While the noise garners millions of views in this crazy landscape, Nambiar, a creator who is all about the attention to detail with music, its placement in the film and giving due respect to artists, has formed a beautiful team with Taish. I have so many recommendations of the songs from this melodious soundtrack. Kod Kod, sung by Jyotika Tangdi, with the music of Raghav Sachar really pulls at your heartstrings, especially the reprised version sung by Mohan Kannan. Re Bavari, sung by Prarthana and Govind Vasant, will transport you to this place of serenity, complemented by beautiful music composed by Vasant himself. One of my favorites from the soundtrack is the melancholic background music titled Rage Infinity, composed by Gaurav. I would highly recommend you check out the Taish full album video on the Zee Music Company YouTube channel. It's totally worth it. The phenomenal cast. The talent involved in this film really have done a brilliant job. Before I get to the main cast, I really have to talk about the standout performers from the supporting cast. Ankur Rathi and Zoa Murani, the to-be-married couple with their own set of problems with the limited screen time, do a praiseworthy job. It was so refreshing to see Abhimanyu Singh as Kuljinder Pali. The intense mob boss is an actor that has been impressing with his transformative role since 2001. He is simply brilliant. It is, however, Saloni Batra and Saurabh Sachdev that stand out with their power-packed performances. Batra, who I became a fan of after Sony, has convincingly portrayed a woman who has become numb from within, who has accepted the vices surrounding her. Her clear trail of thought amongst the madness is portrayed with precision. Saurabh Sachdev, another veteran in the game who has done so many supporting roles, is wickedly hilarious. Pali's right-hand man is loyal, fanatical and totally ruthless. From the main cast, Kriti Kharbanda comparatively has little to do, but with the written material, does justice to her part. Sanjeeda, similarly, with a little screen time, beautifully communicates through her eyes. A sadness deeply embedded of her fate and reality. A proven TV actor who was such a pleasure to see in a film. While I have always been somewhat of a skeptic of Pulkit Samrat's talent, he definitely shines in moments in this film, showcasing his ability to convincingly portray intense roles as well. Jim Sarbh, keeping in mind the slight criticism I had, has such a natural quality as a performer. He fills spaces with improvisation, makes you believe that you're eavesdropping on a conversation rather than watching a performance. His chemistry with Kriti and the banter with the boys all performed with such ease. There's no doubt about one thing though: the soul. The soul of Taish is Harshvardhan Rane in every shape and form. I almost got emotional seeing the abundant talent of this man every time he came in the frame, portraying the role of Pali, the wronged lover and the loyal family man. His intimidating presence, stocky physical structure and intense eyes almost left me baffled for the little we have seen of him. The ease with which he delivers his Punjabi dialogues, the swagger with which he enters a room, Harsh really hit it out of the park with this one. A character that makes sure he looks at his enemies right in the eye before he leaves. Harshvardhan in every frame, from the intense love story to the turmoil within the family, absolutely kills it. It's a performance honestly to watch out for. Editing and screenplay. What is brilliant about any Bejoy Nambiar film is that it will technically stand out. The editing by Priyank Premkumar is catered perfectly in grasping the attention of the audience. While films can easily waver to subplots, the edit constantly reminds us of the dire situation that has led to the circumstances in which the characters find themselves in. This also has to do with the brilliant screenplay of Karthik Iyer that presents the story in a non-chronological format, for one, to keep you on your toes with what transpires in the story, but consistently remind you that the core motivation and focus of the characters is never lost. The cinematography by Harshveer Oberoi will encapsulate you, and the visual depiction also made me come to the conclusion that if Nambiar, with the budget constraints, showcases such great action sequences, both of combat as well as car chases, I would love to see one day a big production house put the faith in him with an out-and-out action film. While I have immense respect for a creator like Bejoy Nambiar, who always presents something fresh and pushes the envelope in an ecosystem that is catered towards recreating and remakes, the film does have its hiccups. Like some of the movies in his filmography, he will always hook you from the first frame, be it the mentally disturbed mother in Shaitan, the unexpected mission in Wazir, or a body in the middle of the road as there is torrential rain in Solo. He will hook you, keep you engaged, constantly remind you of the motivation, and sadly, lose focus momentarily. Taish similarly experiences those ebbs and flows, beautifully showcasing the contrast of Mary and anarchy side by side. While in the 4th and 5th episode, you might disconnect from the choices of characters, he has the ability to suck you right back in its conclusion. I would really urge you to support this film for its inventiveness, talent, as well as its technical brilliance. Harshvardhan Rane's performance is a gentle reminder that talent will eventually persevere and be appreciated. As they say, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. You can watch Taish on ZEE5. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.